SMQBs, episode 103. Who held 7 American track records from 2,000 to 10,000 meters when he died in a 1975 car crash?
Frank Shorter.
No.
But he held it for what?
He had American 7 track records from the 2,000 to 10,000 meters.
Steve Prefontaine.
Hope for the win.
Yes.
Wait, what
Done.
is that movie again with him?
Within Limits or something like that.
Yeah.
All right. So that was a good one. Okay, here's another one. This is pretty easy, I think.
What did that have to do with 103?
Nothing. It was just a little trivia for you. But this one is okay. So according to rule number 1 of the official NBA rule book, what are the dimensions of an NBA basketball court?
Wow.
Just give me length and width.
No
Shit,
idea.
you guys all bagged on the rule book thing. This is when I learned this in high school.
I'm gonna go with 50 feet wide and 200 feet long.
I mean, I used to do suicides on a basketball court. I can't tell you. It was too long.
That was probably 50 years ago. You were doing suicides on a basketball court. They still had wicker baskets that they were using at that point. Last time you were at a suicide. No, actually, House. Really funny because you were dead on right with the width, but you have no fucking clue about the length at all. It's the official dimensions are 94 feet by 50 feet.
Yeah,
Right.
200 feet is 2/3 of a football field.
Yeah, that's
that would be a long
dumb.
half-court shot. So, but if you go in, it's actually very interesting. Rule number 1, there's a diagram that's part of the rule book that lays out everything. All of the stripes are 2 inches. Like all the stripes on a court are exactly 2 inches. There's 4 hash marks that are 2 inches wide, perpendicular to the sideline on each side of the court, and 28 feet from the basket. I mean, it's really very, very detailed. Like every line on there means something. Very detailed. So anyway, how's everybody doing this week?
Happy London,
right.
House.
All right.
How's House doing? Good Lord.
Yeah, House.
The bender is over. The long
Prodigious
journey.
partier that we have among us. My goodness.
He's got a lump sticking out where his liver it rests.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing we didn't record live the last couple of days.
How was Bacchus?
Bacchus is amazing. I mean, first of all, the nighttime parades are so awesome because they're all lit up, but they're double wide and then double high. It's just great. You've been there for Bacchus, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So
We need a SMQB Mardi Gras road trip. That would be fun.
that would be fun.
We might
Dangerous.
not survive.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to say, looking at some of those pictures, I'm not sure I could survive.
Well, what you need to do is we need to get a balcony in where the parade route is, and then we don't have to worry about dealing with people below.
I was going to get my episode 100 SMQB tattoo in New Orleans, but Rooster said I should not do that while I'm drunk. So I'm good.
Yeah, I'm not sure where you want to do that. I mean, in New Orleans during Mardi Gras, I'm not sure that's exactly
you
the
need
spot.
I was waiting for the big reveal house that you would have it like on your flank that you did it when you were.
Yeah. Well, we've been warned that we have entered the doldrums of the sports season now that we are post Super Bowl. But I think this is where, this is an important time for sports fans. This is where you got to get your focus back. Pitchers and catchers have reported already. We'll certainly be talking about baseball in the coming weeks. And we had the NBA and NHL All-Star events recently, and we're now getting towards the playoff pushes in those two, and golf is heating up a little bit. So there's actually a lot to talk about.
And we're not talking NCAA hoops this year, which is great.
Yes,
I
we are.
appreciate that.
We have to focus on one of the greatest downfalls of an NCAA finalist ever.
Wow. A number one ranked team earlier in the season.
Yeah.
Not going to make the
We are getting
March Madness.
extremely close to having that talked, House. house. Not quite there yet. Get very close.
Where does Lunardi have UNC right now? In or out?
First
They're
out.
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 They're last 4 out, I think.
Last 4 out. Yeah.
They're not a tournament team right now. I mean, they could go on a run. They have the talent, but I'm not expecting it.
There's a rumor that it's because of a love triangle. Have you heard that one?
Yes, of course. That's been
What?
misspelled.
What is
Yeah.
it?
Caleb Love and what's the other backcourt guy, dude?
RJ Davis and
Yeah.
RJ Davis's girlfriend, and Caleb,
Oh.
and that's
Someone,
the Dookies started.
someone was
that.
Mr. Steal Your Girl.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
Ooh,
the
Jeez.
Dookies started that. That has
Not
nothing to do
good.
with anything.
not good.
the Duke running a misinformation campaign to bring
Yeah.
down North Carolina
Hey.
basketball.
They
They're smart
succeeded.
enough.
Whatever they did, it worked.
Yeah, I mean they're smart enough probably to have the propaganda.
They have a bunch of Facebook bots spreading stories online.
Maybe you shouldn't
Exactly.
have gone so hard after Coach K on SMQBs, Pope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, fuck Duke. They're not going to
It's-
do very well.
it's-
They're barely going to make the tournament
The
themselves.
retaliation has just begun.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be the curse
think-
of Coach K.
I think
North
Peter-
Carolina will never recover.
Peter Krause is engineering some kind of misinformation, I think.
Oh boy.
Well, let's jump into a little NBA this week, guys. So we just had the All-Star game. Rooster, Pope, House, what do you guys? Where do we want to start with the NBA? Should we talk about the All-Star? Let's talk about the weekend first, and then go into a little sort of preview of the second half.
Make it
Sure.
a very, very short thing about the All-Star game because
Joke.
we'll get to it later, but it's a joke.
Yeah.
It's a joke. I mean, whatever. There's no defense.
Never has been.
It's just kind of silly. I don't really know who it's for. I think the biggest thing of the All-Star weekend, as it always is the contest. I think Dame winning the 3-point contest and Mac McClung, who's probably, I don't know, an inch or two taller than me, and similar pigment, won the NBA All-Star dunk contest, and he probably could have done it with 450s. I mean, the only one he didn't get a 50 on was a 49.8, and the dunks were spectacular. And some people are saying he saved the NBA dunk contest. They really were. Did you see the dunks?
Highlights.
Yeah. Highlights.
I don't know how he did the one. We jumped over two people,
Yeah.
hit the ball on the backboard, and then still dunked it.
Yep.
Come on.
Mac,
Like
Is he
when Kobe
ever
jumped
gonna-
the car.
Is he ever going to see the court though in the regular NBA game?
no, he's played 2 NBA games.
Yeah, I mean he's
He just came up from the G League.
G League.
Until midway through the All-Star week, when the Sixers signed him to a 2-way contract, he was officially going to be in as a Delaware Blue Coat, which is a G League team. Like he just basically was able to put on that Sixers jersey a day or two before, because otherwise he would have been in the contest as a Delaware Blue Coat.
Now you need to have him on the end of the bench as a mascot so he can go do fantastic dunks at halftime.
Mac
Yeah.
McClung can just go right ahead and fuck himself as far as I'm concerned. This is the perfect event for him. All he ever cared about in basketball is dunking it. That's it. He's a dunker. That's it. He has no loyalty. He's trash. He can just go fuck himself.
Why'd you let him slip away? Whose fault
Boy,
was that?
Hoya sack the bitches because he's just I don't know. He couldn't dunk enough or something. So fuck that guy. Fuck him.
Anyway.
Send him right back to the G League, back to the fucking hole that he crawled out of.
Ah.
Vice is
8
on
minutes.
fire.
Ooh.
8
Mac-
minutes of
Mac
Jeez.
McClung's
So much for that feel good story,
Boy, I
motherfuckers.
tell you what,
yeah. Fuck
the,
Mac-
the,
Mac
the
McClung
Sunday
is a
morning
great-
quarterback preachers aren't going to be listening to you very long.
Mac McClung's a great dunker. Dame Lillard's a great shooter. Jason Tatum can really score. And Nikola Jokic is a joke in a speed up game where it's just fast break fun. And that's the All-Star update.
Well,
And
what's so stupid is it's fucking shirts and skins now. It's like, you have 2 stars pick their teams.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever happened to conference loyalty? I mean, if there was ever any kind of interest in the All-Star game, it was when you had conference loyalty and the players you followed. Now it's like, team LeBron versus team Giannis. Who cares?
I thought that's what I said last year, and you all disagreed with me. Thought this
I
was a
didn't.
great idea.
The only thing I said last year,
We could
which
run it
is
back
still
and
the case this year, is that the kids like it. I mean, us old heads don't like it, but the kids do like this format. I did not know this. Did you know that this is the first, since they switched this format, this is the first time Team LeBron has lost an All-Star game.
And he got hurt too, didn't he?
Yeah, hand
Hurt his
contusion.
hand dunking.
Yeah.
He hurt his wrist trying to block a shot. He hit the rim when trying to block a shot.
Anyway, let's move on to
That's
how
what he
the
gets
East
for
and West are
trying.
doing, because the All-Star game was
Snoozer.
stupid.
Yeah.
All right, let's Rooster, talk to us a little bit about what to look for in the East as we.
Well, we
as
only
move
have,
forward here.
like 22 games left in the season.
Yeah, 22 or 23, I think.
And
yeah.
the East is reminding me of sort of like the NFL East, the NFC East. The resurgence of the East is remarkable. A few years ago, the East was sort of a joke compared to the West. And now of the top 5 teams, but best 5 records, 4 of them are in the East. The Celtics have the best record. But of late, I would say that the best team in the league right now is maybe the Bucks. They're 10-0 in their last 10 games.
They've won 12 in a row.
Won 12 in a row, yeah.
And Giannis is, pouring in like 32 points a game. If I'm the Nuggets, if people are saying the Nuggets are the number 1 team in the West, I don't want to see the Bucks or the Sixers, because as you saw, as you were commenting, House, Jokic can't play a fast-paced game, and he can't guard Embiid or Giannis. He just can't do it. He should be rooting for the Celtics to go all the way, because at least he could guard Rob Williams if Rob Williams is even healthy. But there's no way he can hang in there with Embiid or Giannis. So in the East, we've got 4 teams that are looking elite right now: the Celtics, the Bucks, the Sixers, and the Cavs. Remarkably, are 38-23. They've got Donovan Mitchell now in the backcourt with Garland, and a hell of a defense with the Twin Towers, Mobley and Allen. They're a legit team.
There's a buyout of Kevin Love's contract now, right? So,
yeah, he's gone. He's on the Heat. He signed with the Heat today.
Did he sign the Heat today?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Remarkably, so those are the top 4 elites in the East, I think. And then you've got, other teams trying to get those last 3 spots. And it looks like currently the leaders of the pack in that group of teams are the Nets, the Knicks, and the Heat, who now have Kevin Love. The Nets are playing better than they did with superstars on their team right now. It's interesting. They're pretty coherent. They've got a lot of good players, but not great players. And like Dinwiddie is come alive, and Mikal Bridges, they look really good. And the Knicks have come alive too. Brunson I think was snubbed by not being selected for the All-Star bench, and he's scoring, 38, 40 points a game recently. The Knicks' problem is they have absolutely no shooting guards. And I think RJ Barrett has taken a huge step backwards this season, which is unfortunate because Randall is back in form and Brunson's playing great. But once you get past those 2, there's not a whole lot to be excited about on the Knicks. I'm not really sure what I think about the Heat right now. I'll tell you what, man. Imagine if your Sixers had held on to Jimmy B. Oof. That would be a powerful lineup. It's a shame that it didn't work out. So that's how I see. I mean, you've got 2 teams actively tanking for Victor Wembanyama, who's that 7'4" center out of France. Probably the best prospect in over a decade.
Since LeBron. Most are saying since LeBron.
Yeah, it looks like
pretty heady.
Looks like the Hornets and the Pistons do not intend to win another game. in the West, Pope, the Spurs haven't won in 2023. They haven't won a game in 2023. They're 0 for their last 10, I think.
The Spurs have the
Yeah.
art of tanking down. If you'll remember, I mean, that's how they ended up getting Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And somehow they have one more win than the Rockets.
yeah, who also
So-
suck.
So one of these teams is going to wind up with 2 or 3 superstars on rookie contracts. You know, I mean, you've got Cade Cunningham. He's only played 12 games this year for the Pistons, but they could get him, and they already have 2 or 3 decent young guys. The Rockets are stacked with young guys. Who coaches that team? I forget. Is it Bickerstaff?
and picks.
Oh
Picks
God,
galore.
yeah, but they can't play together. They're the worst coach team. I've watched a couple of Rockets games this year, and they don't know how to run an offense at all. It's just 1-on-5, 1-on-5, 1-on-5.
It's Silas.
They're terrible.
Steven Silas is the head coach.
The Jabari Smith is making the Magic's decision to take Paulo #1 look really good, because Jabari Smith can't shoot, and everyone just drives to the hoop on that team. So I think the East is the much
Really?
stronger division this year, and I see the
Interesting.
just
Celtics,
really a
the Bucks, and
three-team
the
horse race,
Sixers
though.
really being the top 3.
You know,
Yeah, it's just a three-team horse race.
before we go over to the West, I feel like every year we see in the NBA like that missing piece that is critical to these teams. And I think for the Celtics, the Malcolm Brogdon signing was massive. He's such a smart player. He's a perfect complement to Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Brogdon was a great signing. He may be a missing piece for the Celtics. Keep your eye. I said at the trade deadline, keep your eye on the bench minutes and the playoff toughness of Jay Crowder, who has an inside-outside game that the Bucks got him at the trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
And if the Sixers playoff run this year will not go depending upon Embiid, because you know what you get with Embiid. You get 30 and 10 every night. It's this healthy Harden who's turned back the clock like 10 years.
Yep.
He's leading the NBA in assists. And I don't think last year we saw a healthy Harden. So I think those are the guys that are driving. I still think the Cavs are a year away. Donovan Mitchell's unbelievable. And they could surprise in a round or two, but I think it's going to come down to Bucks, Celtics, Sixers, and one of those missing pieces I think is going to push it.
To your point about the Celtics, their only problem is they're hurt. They've got the
Right.
best record in the league with Marcus Smart hurt, Jaylen Brown hurt, and Rob Williams hurt, and also his backup. Who's that guy from Florida, University of Florida?
Where's Milk when you need him?
Yeah.
You guys
Hey,
know, I mean,
the
backup center on the Celtics. He's hurt.
Yeah. The amazing thing also about the Celtics, which we haven't even talked about, is all this is done with a substitute coach this year.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing, we were like frowning Udoka last year as one of the best new coaches in the NBA.
Yeah. This guy's more than stepped up.
Yeah.
What the Celtics have, I think, above the other 3 powerhouse teams in the East is they don't have any glaring hole in their lineup. The Bucks are starting Grayson Allen. You know, the Celtics don't have that kind of a weak link.
Yeah.
The Sixers are they may be starting Tucker at power forward in some games in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You never know what you're getting with him, but he's, what is he, 40 something years old?
You were talking about Horford on the Celtics. I forgot.
Horford. So the Celtics don't have that. The Cavs also don't have that. They may be a year away just because of the experience, but they're a pretty stacked lineup. They've got Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, LeVert, Mobley, and Allen, all solid guys. I mean, there's not a hole in that lineup. Sort of like the Suns, I think now.
I would be nervous of playing the Heat in the playoffs.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, always.
Yeah. That'll be interesting to see where they end up.
They'll be a tough out.
Yeah. Just looking at the roster, it's it's I'd be a little worried about them.
Well, you guys want to
Their
move over?
defense is outstanding this year.
Well, Pope, do you agree that East beats West this year?
At the top, yes. Now, are we talking about like, do I think the East is going to win the NBA Finals this year? I'm not going to concede that at all. I mean, I'm not convinced. You know, you look at the West. Denver is running away with it. They're going to be the 1 seed unless they collapse, which isn't going to happen. They're 7-3 and they're still rolling. The biggest question for Denver is their health, though. You know, Jamal Murray got hurt last year and that killed him. But even at full strength, though, you know, let's first of all, let's assume that Sacramento drops.
Yeah, I was going to say, what
Yeah,
are they doing there?
There's no way they hang on to that.
Yeah, I don't
spot
see
in the
how
West.
they're going to. I mean, they may drop to 6, 7 or lower, but with the really good teams starting to kick it in. I mean, you look for in the West, you look at the rosters. You've got some amazing lineups with 3 superstars that are coalescing. And I don't know if you guys have seen this, but did you see who signed or is getting ready to sign Russell Westbrook?
Yeah, that's dumb. God,
The
that's
Clips.
awful.
The Clippers.
Yeah, but
Why would that? Why would you think that's a good idea?
He's still talented.
He is.
He
Westbrook?
still
just
thinks he should
given
take
up
the
on it.
last shot of every game, and he can't shoot. He still thinks he should put his head down and drive to the hoop when better players are wide open. He's
It's a
terrible.
liability.
Yeah,
We'll see.
He
We'll
makes
see.
teams
I mean,
worse.
with PG and Kawhi, they have a strong chemistry locker room, and I think Russ is running out of his opportunities. He could definitely help when those guys are sitting, put the ball in the basket. He's still
Wait. With Kawhi, they have a strong locker room. He might be the most selfish NBA player in the entire league. I think it's the opposite. I think you're throwing gasoline into a fire there.
and they've been playing great lately too. Kawhi is actually healthy again,
Right.
and for 16 or so straight games, he's played like one of the top 3 to 5 players in the league again. So I don't know why you want to mess with that.
Yeah.
I just feel like if Russ were ever capable of deflating his ego enough to come off the bench and play 8 to 10 solid minutes of point guard play, he could be a helpful piece. But if you're putting this guy in a starting lineup and running the offense through him, it's a disaster waiting to happen.
I agree.
I don't think that's the intent. I don't think they're going to start him there.
Well, they just signed a couple of backup point guards a week or 2 ago. This guy Bones Highland and one other guy.
Eric Gordon, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
what's the point of all that?
Yeah.
Well, they're trying to get a lineup they like.
Go ahead, Pope.
No, I was going to say, I mean, you've got everything's bunched up in the West. After Denver, you got Memphis, and we saw Memphis last year in the playoffs, and beyond Ja and Desmond Bane, I mean, they struggle. I'm not sure I like them in a playoff series, even in the first round. They need more help for Ja. I just don't know if it's coming in time.
Yeah, they're going in the wrong direction too. I think they're like 4-9 in their last 13 games.
Right, they're 4-6 in the last 10. But all of the West teams though are like 5-5, 4-6, 6-4 going into the All-Star break. And you just have it's like a collision of cars all lined up against, crashing into each other. You got the Clips are 1.5 game ahead of Phoenix. That's 1 game ahead of Dallas. That's a half game ahead of New Orleans and a half game ahead of Minnesota. And 1 game ahead of Golden State. So
there's 4.5
6 teams.
There's 4.5 games that separate 3 through 12.
Right.
So unlike the East, where the cream is risen to the top, and we all sort of think the top teams are where they belong, You got to look down the current standings a little bit
Yeah.
to start picking the best teams in the West.
You know
The
what?
story is the Suns, I think, that KD hasn't stepped foot on the court for them yet.
He will.
He will.
I mean,
No, I know, but when he
I think-
does, who's going to beat that team?
right. Well, I mean, I think the fact that we're talking about the West really without focusing on the new look Suns and the new look Mavs, I'm pretty sure they're going to end. Both of them are going to end up in the top 3,
No,
right? Don't you think,
No.
Pope?
no,
No,
nobody's gonna. None of them are gonna unseat Memphis.
Oh, yeah.
I see the Suns at the 3 seed. Maybe the Mavs at 4, but the Clips and the Mavs are going to be right there. I think 4-5, 5-4 doesn't matter. There's just not enough games left. But who have we not talked about? This reminds me of our talk in the beginning.
Pelicans, the T-Wolves,
No,
the
Golden State,
Warriors.
the
The
defending
Golden State
champion.
Warriors, defending
Yeah.
NBA champions.
Yeah.
yeah.
It reminds me a little bit of the Carolina situation. They have way underperformed.
Injuries.
You would expect them to, and you keep waiting.
Yeah, they're
But you keep waiting for them to kick it in, and they keep losing game.
Well,
after
the
game.
injury bug has hit them hard.
yeah, and they can't play defense this year either.
But I mean,
What's
do we-
Curry's
do we
status?
think
What is Curry's health
I
status?
think he's out at least a couple
another
more
3 or
weeks.
4 weeks? I think.
Pope, why do you think that the Suns with that lineup with KD and Booker and Paul and Ayton can't catch the Grizzlies, which can't seem to win a game recently?
4.5 games is a lot. They'd have to. The Memphis would have to play 500 ball, and Phoenix would probably have to play 750, 800 ball. But the thing about Phoenix, I'm not sold completely on them yet, is we saw last year Chris Paul broke down in the Mavs series.
Right.
And are we going to depend on? Are they depending on Chris Paul to be their playmaker? I mean, Booker is a phenomenal talent, but he's a 2. He's not a 1. So I mean, are there going to be periods of time when Phoenix struggles because Chris Paul is struggling? I don't know. I need to wait and see how that chemistry looks and how they start performing when they're all together, assuming that happens in the next couple of weeks before I'm going to tell you whether I think they'll catch Memphis. Right now, I say no, they're too far behind. But they'll be. I think they'll be the 3 seed, and so it doesn't matter. They'll play Memphis in 7-game series, second round, assuming they both get past the first round. And we didn't talk about the Lakers. LeBron is talking about how these next few games are some of the most important in his career. I mean, he clearly sees that they're not a team that's made for the playoffs. And you got Utah and Portland that are.
They made some pretty big moves though. The Lakers. I mean, bringing D'Angelo Russell in is. I don't think that should be poo-pooed in the trade deadline mix. Adding him to the Lakers.
Well, they're only 2 games behind Oklahoma City, so you think they could catch them if they start playing well?
Yeah, they've got a new team again. They brought Rui Hachimura in. I mean, they added a lot of pieces in LA.
The biggest question is I don't know as much in the East as the West, but in the West, who's going to avoid the play-in tournament? Whoever's going to be in 7 right now, it's the Pelicans. But they're tied with Minnesota at 8, and then Golden State half game behind, and then another half game's Oklahoma City. Who is going to avoid? Who's going to come out of that group of 4 and get out of the play-in tournament? Because they're going to have to knock somebody out. Most likely would be Sacramento, but they would really have to go on a losing streak at some point.
I just don't think those are going to matter much. I mean, the only one that gets really interesting with the play-in is if Golden State's part of it and all of a sudden gets healthy and surprises somebody after that. The entire West not second half, the remaining 22 games or whatever comes down to health. How healthy is KD? How healthy is Steph Curry?
Kawhi.
How healthy is Kawhi? How healthy are the Nuggets?
Why are you not worried about the Pelicans at all? Maybe that wasn't the right way of saying it. You don't think they're a threat to anybody, really?
Zion's hurt again.
He's always hurt.
Yeah,
Big
but
shock there, right?
He's out
Is he
for a
out,
while.
though?
He's out for
Is he?
3 weeks. Yeah.
I think he's got another week or 2 to go.
Can't depend on him anyway when he comes back.
Like I said, health is what's going to determine these teams' futures in the playoffs. I think because Golden State is hurt And because the Suns and Mavs are still kind of gelling their team together, this could be the year that the Nuggets get there, that they get over the hump and they get all the way to the finals.
Well, like I say, if they do, I don't think they can stay on the court with Embiid or Giannis, so they better
Right.
hope it's the Celtics.
Well, that's what I think it's going to be. Unfortunately, can't stand the Celtics, but I think they're the cream. I really do think they're the cream of the East.
Yeah.
They play such good team basketball.
All right.
Must see
Anything else?
games. Must see games will be Dallas and Phoenix in the second half or the last 23 games or so.
It's really
Have
like the
you
last
seen
quarter.
any games where they've been on the court together, Pope?
Who? Luka and Kyrie?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're 0-2.
Really?
I thought that. Oh, the first one Luka didn't play.
The first 2 games Kyrie played, they won. Luka did not play. The third
Yeah.
game, Luka played, Kyrie played, and they lost in overtime. The second game they played together, Kyrie had 26 points in the fourth quarter, and they couldn't hit a 3 at the buzzer to send it to overtime against.
Do you know what the name? You know what the names Luka and Kyrie have in common? No D.
No D and big D. Is that your
Wow.
conclusion?
That's my conclusion.
Wow. How long you been waiting to use that?
It just came to me. Bison.
All right. Anything else on NBA?
All this NBA talk is making me hungry for a cookie.
Oh boy.
Oh, well, we are here then. We are at the official, the wrap up of the Girl Scout Cookie Challenge.
No, it's the Final Four. This is not the
Final
wrap
Four.
up. Yeah,
Oh, so we're gonna push it another week. We want to push the championship one more week.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, come
all
on.
right.
This is the only Final Four Pope is going to make this year.
Oh.
Oh.
Well played, House.
All right. Okay. So we'll just get through the Final Four this week, and we'll set up a championship. It's gonna be interesting. This is gonna be interesting.
All right.
So-
Well, our first matchup is we'll go 1-4. It's Tagalongs versus the Adventurefuls.
That's right. And just to remind everyone, because the Adventurefuls comes out of that small conference that most people haven't heard of. They're sort of like the St. Peter's of this year.
The mid-major.
Yeah. So they're Adventurefuls are an indulgent brownie-inspired cookie topped with caramel flavor, creme with a hint of sea salt.
All right. Don't say anything else. I'm gonna mute and eat one.
That's the Mount St. Mary's of cookies.
Caramel flavor, but not caramel. Is that what that says?
I felt like that bite was too quick, Pope. At least he's chewing with his mouth closed. I mean, this is riveting. How's it taste on video?
This is a really good radio right here.
Yeah.
Hold on. This is the screenshot I need to get.
We're not listening to Pope chew.
We're not listening to Pope Chill. All right. So
All right.
Adventurefuls taking on
What does it taste like,
Tagalongs.
Pope? I mean, what?
So Adventurefuls. Oh, well, I went ahead and had the. What are the Tagalongs? Chris, read that.
Well, Tagalongs are legendary. They're a crispy cookie layered with peanut butter and covered with a chocolatey coating. So, I mean, that's the one seed.
Yeah.
Chocolate
Right.
and peanut butter in a
They're
cookie.
the
I mean,
one seed for a reason.
They are the one seed for a reason. That's right.
But I feel like you chewed on the Adventurefuls and you weren't moved by it. Like no reaction.
No reaction. In fact,
No.
it looked like you were a little
No,
thirsty.
I was not trying to reveal my my thoughts. So I am not a big peanut butter cookie guy. Let me just say that. And it prejudices my view of Tagalongs because it's too peanut buttery for me. Therefore, I
Fortunately,
do
you only have one vote.
So you have
of
been
course.
completely eliminated from any credibility if you're not a
Right.
peanut butter guy. So
Right.
Right. Well, no, but the brownie inspired cookie with the caramel and the hint of sea salt, Adventurefuls, I thought was more tasty than the Tagalong. So I would vote for Adventurefuls over Tagalongs.
really.
Shouldn't
would
we
be my
tell we should probably tell the listener that this is the same guy who in our blind bourbon tasting event picked a rum. That's his favorite bourbon.
Wait, let me ask.
It's pretty tasty.
just for the listeners, did you eat a full cookie of each of them?
No. Would you
Okay.
prefer me to eat a full cookie?
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't. I
Please
just
do a
feel
little
like you're
palate rinse with milk
you're
in
sliding
between.
the
Come on,
tagalongs.
man.
Well,
Get this
I
right.
have coffee rinse.
Mm.
Okay, would you prefer me to go back off and eat a full cookie?
Yeah, did
Sure,
you
you do that.
No,
while
no,
we-
no,
back.
no. Yeah,
while we
let's
vo-
vote. Let's vote.
While we vote. Yeah. Rooster, what do you got?
Yeah, just keep eating cookies.
Tagalongs.
Yeah.
There we go.
House.
I don't want to vote till he eats the whole box, but if I have to, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with the tagalongs.
I'm going tagalongs too, and we're sending the tagalongs into the finals. The 1 seed holds form.
I cannot believe we did this with the 2 and the 3 seed. What were you thinking?
What do you mean?
One of the Thin Mints and the Samoas is going to be knocked out right now?
Yeah, sure it is.
Oh my God.
That's because tagalongs are the champion.
I don't
Tagalongs are the one.
I don't
My
even know.
champion is Adventureful still.
Just
Wow.
sorry to Lee Hoffman.
Yeah. Well, you never know. Thin Mints could get there. I mean, they just got to get through this round.
Mm.
So we've got the Samoas versus Thin Mints, and I mean, obviously
Look
these
at that!
two
Look at
need
that
no-
beautiful cookie.
They need no introduction. The Samoa, which by the way is referred to now by many as a caramel delight, is a crisp cookie with caramel, coconut, and chocolatey stripes. And of course, the Thin Mint is the legendary crisp chocolate cookie dipped in a delicious mint chocolatey coating. By the way, I'm very curious about the language on the website of chocolatey. It's not a chocolate coating. So are we going with there's actually no chocolate involved in any of these
I
cookies?
don't understand why we got politically correct about the Samoans and we're still hurting on the fat about the fat people. I mean, come on, like you can still call it Thin Mints, but
I don't know. I'm just telling you.
Not fat mints.
Not fat mints, right?
what is the Samoa
Listen,
going
I'm
down?
just going to say what is on the mind of 90% of our listeners. Samoans are like the crack of cookies. And
Oh,
there's just no other one that even belongs in this race with them.
Was
Wow.
the Thin Mint? Was
You
the Thin Mint?
you can't put those things down. You can't stop eating them.
Oh,
All
was the
right,
Thin Mint
so-
eaten at room
Pope's-
temperature
Pope's
or
had-
cold?
Pope's had 15 cookies since we started this
Yeah, Pope
conversation.
just went into a food coma. Yeah.
Cookie. Thin Mints.
All right, Rooster. So I guess we got your vote. You're first. You're for Samoas.
Yeah.
House.
Nailed it. It's crack. I'm voting for the crack Samoas.
Pope.
You guys suck. I grew up on Thin Mints, whether it's in the freezer, room temperature, or whatever. I mean, and I don't like coconut. So there you have it. Thin Mints all the way, baby.
Well, we got a problem.
I know you're going to vote them out.
We gotta leave this to the listeners.
Nope. I'm putting Thin Mints. I'm going with Thin Mints. We got a 2-2 tie.
Yeah, it's got to go to
And-
listeners.
Ooh.
And now I'm going to
milk.
milk. I'm going to milk.
Milk
gonna
weighs
ask him-
130 pounds and has never eaten a cookie in his life.
I'm
Wait, do
asking
we
him
have an
right
answer
now.
for milk?
I'm asking him. Let's see if he gets back to us.
All right.
Is he trying to drive? We don't want
Why-
him eating cookies or trying to text and drive.
He'll get back to us. If not,
All right.
I don't know what to do.
Well, we did have some on my Facebook page. We had some comments. I couldn't tell if it was more Samoas or Thin Mints. It was pretty close.
Well,
I'm
I think
stressing the importance of the milk
hopefully
right
we
now.
hopefully we get an answer from.
So
from
we're into overtime.
Yeah, we're going to overtime. We're gonna take
All
a
right.
quick commercial break here. Hopefully we'll get a vote. We'll get a vote in.
Yeah, where's
did-
the rule book now as to how to break a tie? Yeah, so much for your rules.
Why don't you fuck yourself with Mac McClung?
Wow.
All right.
Spicy bison.
All right. Okay. Well, with that, House, I think you got a punchable face for us, right?
This is a very wide-ranging punchable face,
Oh, good.
but I'm
Delay a little bit while Milk responds.
yeah, because I can take it one at a time, but I am punching all for major American sports leagues for the way they manage all-star games. I'm tired of it. I am tired of the all-star formats. None of them work anymore. We just saw a complete debacle with the NFL. They were playing goddamn flag football. They were playing flag football. The NBA, as the coach of the Nuggets said, that was the worst basketball game ever played. Ever. There was no defense. It's stupid.
It's not really a game.
It's not a game. It's not even an exhibition.
It's not practice.
Hockey's the same way. There's no they're not actually playing the sport of it. And baseball, which is the closest it gets to an actual competition, anybody that's playing well because of like fairness and let's get everybody in the game, like Little League. If you had a pitcher who came in and threw 3 perfect innings, he's gone. Like anything that could happen good in the MLB All-Star game, they've wiped that away too. I just think All-Star games are stupid. If it's about getting like a financial bonus of some kind, fine. Let's just have the writers say, yes, you would be in the equivalent of this. But other than that, do the players really want to be in it?
Did that little bastard just vote for Thin Mints?
Fuck you, Milk.
Just you wait. We're in the middle of the house. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We do have a victor though. We do have a winner. But House, I hear you. I think baseball is still pretty good. And the reason baseball is good is because you get those one-on-one pitcher versus hitter matchups, right? You get to see the best pitchers square off against the best hitters in the game for 9 innings. That's what makes baseball still interesting, I think, right? Now, it was more interesting when the National League and American League didn't play each other, and it was the only time you got to see somebody square off against another guy. So that was more interesting. Interleague play has sort of taken away a little bit of that uniqueness. But I mean, what's the answer? Do you just cancel these games?
I mean, if you want to have skills competitions, I still think people would turn on the TV to watch the skills competitions and then give these guys a bonus in their contract. I would still turn on the 3-point competition or the skills competition or the dunk competition. I would definitely turn on the home run hitting contest. I don't know what they can do in football. I mean, you want to put a bunch of kickers out there and kick along the field. I don't know what you can do.
The thing though is the 3-point competition and the dunk competition are not necessarily even
that's true. They're not
fielding all-stars.
That's true.
Right. That's right.
I'd rather have a skills competition of the best in that, even if they're not all-stars, and then say the actual all-star team is this. I don't know what the solution is, but right now the NBA has, and particularly the NBA and NFL and NHL really are bad. And I agree, baseball comes the closest to something being relevant as an all-star game, but I don't like it. And I'm definitely punching the NBA all-star game, but I'm punching all 4 leagues while I'm at it.
Did the NBA do the first and second year players all-star game this year?
Yes.
That's usually a little more competitive because they're looking at getting some endorsement money.
Yeah. Right. Well, what the comment was about Mac McClung is what the NBA figured out this year is actually pick the guys who are creative and can jump out of the building. Like, don't just put up big names because it's a big name and we think he can dunk. Like, actually pick the best dunkers and let them compete. Pick the best shooters and let them compete. The game itself, the all-star game itself, is stupid. That's my punch.
All right. Any
Very
other
broad punch?
Any other punches? I think I'm gonna have to punch Milk.
I'm gonna punch Milk.
I'm punching Milk because Milk coming through with the deciding vote and sending Samoas to the finals.
Yes, Milk.
Samoas all day, every day is what he says.
Milk gets a punch too.
All right.
Milk, did people not tell you over the weekend to fuck off enough? Because if they didn't,
Yeah,
fuck you, Milk.
Fuck off, Milk.
You guys can blame Bison for setting up these seedings in this way. That should have been 1 versus 2, should have been Samoas versus Thin Mints at the end. This is what the NCAA did last year by putting Duke versus UNC in the semifinal. Should have been the
I
final.
don't.
We did the same thing.
I still think the tag along.
Kansas, where the tag-alongs would argue.
tag tagalongs. Yeah, tagalongs belong on the one line. Well, we're gonna find out. We got tagalongs versus Samoas.
Great, we got peanut
So-
butter versus coconut. I'm fucking excited.
Look, you not like peanut butter is a personal problem. All right, I think we got a lasso rooster.
Yeah, it's a quick one. John Schneider, the manager of the Blue Jays, was in a restaurant in Florida earlier this week when he noticed a woman was literally choking to death on a piece of shrimp that was lodged in her throat, and everyone around her could not figure out what to do. And he had taken a course, a safety course, and learned how to do the Heimlich maneuver and walked over and saved her life and dislodged this piece of shrimp. And for his efforts, they gave him a free beer.
Wow.
So Lasso to John Schneider and a punch to the owner of that restaurant.
Yeah, exactly. They couldn't even pick up the meal, huh?
Right.
By the way, next week to keep up with our reality podcasting, Pope is going to do the Heimlich on a mannequin. So tune in for that.
Pope's going to eat 4 boxes of cookies and then someone's going to Heimlich him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh boy.
All right. Anybody got anything else?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. Another one.
We're no, not a lasso.
Okay.
We're gonna pour one out. We had a loss in the Major League Baseball family this week. After 60 years in Major League Baseball, Tim McCarver, gotta be a favorite of Bison's in the catcher family. Expos, Red Sox, Phillies, Cardinals, 2 World Series with the Cardinals. How about in your lifetime being pretty much the personal catcher for Bob Gibson and Steve Carlton?
Wow.
How about that? And I think everybody really enjoyed him in the broadcasting booth. The story I liked hearing, and I knew some about this because I was a little kid, but I don't know how much it happens these days. Maybe our baseball expert Bison knows this, but like there was a time where some stud pitchers would have their own personal catcher. So Steve Carlton didn't use Bob Boone or his personal catcher was Tim McCarver, who at that point of his career wasn't really what you would think of as a starting catcher. And the story goes that, most catchers, they tell the pitcher what pitch is going to be called, and that's what the pitcher throws. And, the catcher's the general there, but Steve Carlton was like a really, really strong-headed person, really quirky, strong-headed person. And he wanted to call the pitches from the mound. And there was probably very, very few personalities who could put up with something like that. And they just formed a very, very close bond. Tim McCarver was his personal catcher and got him to another Cy Young in 1977. And I don't know. I thought he was a really great classic catcher and a fantastic broadcaster. And I think it's somebody we'll miss from the baseball family, and pour one out for Tim McCarver.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Tim.
I think Kershaw, Darvish, Garrett Cole, Lucas Giolito, those guys are the ones who seem to have preferred catchers at this point. I'm not sure that they get the start every time these guys, that they pitch, but they definitely seem to have preferred catchers on a roster. That's my understanding. So there's still, and I think Scherzer, when he was with the Nats, had one of the two, because the Nats always sort of had a platoon catcher situation anyway, and he had one he preferred throwing to. So I think they're preferred catchers now, but you're right. McCarver made a career in a lot of ways catching some of those guys. So yeah, definitely a pour one out moment. Good job. Anything else? Anybody got anything else?
Are you excited about your new assistant head coach?
Like I said, he's not coming with Patrick Mahomes, right? We don't get
Last
Mahomes
we
in
checked.
the deal. Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. I think he's a great coach, right? We're going to find out how good he is. I
think you should be excited about Bieniemy,
Yeah.
because you keep talking about all these really cool offensive pieces you have on the Commanders. And I don't think you have fully gotten out of what a McLaren and Robinson and Gibson and
Yeah.
Dotson. I think you're going to find out what you can get out of the full potential of these players from Bieniemy.
I think that's
I'm
true.
not
I
happy
mean,
you got, as an Eagles fan, I'm not happy you got him.
Yeah, you had some pretty uninspired play calling the last few years.
yeah, I mean, I think, look, Rivera is a defensive guy and he's an old school guy. And so he was really pushing this, we want to be, 3 yards in a cloud of dust offense. He's not going to be able to do that now with just turning it all over to Bieniemy, who, by the way, comes with the assistant head coach title too, not just offensive coordinator. So I think that's a good point. We still have to get the quarterback situation figured out, and of course the ownership situation. But I think that's a good point, House, is that in theory we do have some weapons. I mean, we have some weapons on offense that were underutilized, and so let's see. It's a good thing. I'm excited.
Welcome to the West Coast offense, because that's what he's going to run.
Yeah. Well, whatever offense we ran last year didn't work, so I mean, whatever. Let's go for it. Hail to the Commanders. All right, guys. Anything? That's it. Have a good week.
Happy Mardi Gras.
Bye,
See you
guys.
guys.
Yeah.